I'm doing my 3-minute video on the option of a personal experience I had. So I actually did my vulnerable and diverse population paper on Tongan Americans. And the reason I chose this is because growing up in Orem, Utah, right here close to BYU, there's a lot of Polynesians, a lot of Tongans that lived here. So people that I went to school with, they played sports. A lot of them are involved in sports. And it wasn't weird for me just because there was so many of them in all the schools, and they all knew each other, and we all knew them. And I work in a healthcare setting. I work as a medical scribe. And one time I was taking x-rays for a patient. She was from the Pacific Northwest. She was from Oregon, I think. And when I was talking to her, I took her back, got to know her, and she looked Polynesian. I was just asking her where she's from, and she said, "Oh, well, I'm from Oregon," but she volunteered that her ancestry was Polynesian. And I thought that was really interesting, and I knew a lot of Polynesians from growing up here. So I said, which island? Your ancestry is Polynesian. Which island are you from? Or your ancestry is from? And she looked extremely shocked. She was like, "How do you know that there's different islands? No one's ever, people just think I'm Mexican up in the Pacific Northwest." And I was like, no, they're very different. They have very different cultures. Tongan Americans, Tongans are different than Samoans, are different than people from Fiji and people from Easter Island. And so she was very grateful that I, in the healthcare setting, could kind of relate with her a little bit and ask her. She ended up being Samoan. So, I talked with her about that, and she seemed very, very grateful, and also she was put more at ease because of this situation. And so I'm just really happy that I was able to have that background from growing up around a lot of Polynesians, going to different parties, having them treat us to their traditional foods, and learning more about them. I also spent about a third of my mission living on Easter Island. So the Polynesians that live there are Rapa Nui, and that's what they're known as. There's about 5,000 of them in the world, scattered mostly on the island, but a little bit in Chile and Australia. And then a couple of them actually immigrate to the United States. Many countries or companies in the United States will actually come and pick up Rapa Nui workers, and they'll take them to build granaries in Ohio or something random. And they'll go and they'll work really hard for 6 months and make like $60,000. And they'll take it back to Easter Island and they'll use it there. So I'm glad that all these experiences that I've had have helped me to kind of see through their lens, see through their eyes when it comes to medical field and being an immigrant in the United States. And so therefore I can help them better as a medical provider in the future.